Joining us right now, former Florida Congressman, Fox News contributor, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Lieutenant Colonel, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Maria.
What do you make of this? Authorities saying that this is not a terrorist attack. The suspect was yelling Allahu Akbar during the shootings. Can you make that case that it wasn't really terrorism and it's just hate? And why make the distinction?
Well, of course it's hate, but the problem that we have here continuing in the United States of America is this obfuscation, denial, and dismissal. You know, Major Nadal Hassan stood on the table of Fort Hood, Texas, and shouted Allahu Akbar, and we still classify that as workplace violence. We had the shooting in San Bernardino, California, with Saeed Farouk and Tashfeen Malik. That was called an issue of gun control. The same thing happened at a nightclub in Orlando, and we get told it's about gun control. But yet when we had Dylan Roof, of course, and the insane thing that he did, shooting up the church in Emmanuel Church in Charleston, South Carolina, it set off an incredible powder keg, and people went after the state of South Carolina's flag. So I am sick and tired of us providing these excuses. And when you had the head of the Homeland Security, General Kelly, saying what is happening in this country, we've got to take this step very seriously.
Yeah. Colonel West, is Kevin Kelly. One of the main questions I have is what can we do to prevent attacks like this in the future? It seems like the criminal justice system needs a little bit of an overhaul due to the fact that this was a person who spent time in jail. He was actually deemed incompetent for one of his trials. He had drugs possession, weapon charges before this. How do we prevent something like this happening in the future, and what steps need to be taken?
Well, that was a great question, and one of the things that we have is this infiltration of Islamic jihadism into our prison system, where you have a lot of radicalization going on of these inmates and then they're released. The other thing that we have to understand is that California has an incredible restriction even against law-abiding citizens having concealed carry licenses. So these people are not even able to defend themselves. They're victims in every way, shape, form, and fashion. And yet again, we continue to see what is happening on Facebook, where this gentleman was putting these hateful rhetoric on Facebook and nothing was done about it. So all these indicators and warning signs are there.
Colonel West, Kirsten Haglund here. You talked about the social media effect of this, and obviously we saw about the Facebook killer. And, you know, what do you think that Americans can do, right? Because we're constantly looking to CEO Mark Zuckerberg as well as our federal government to say, what can they do? But what can Americans do when they're on social media, when they're seeing things like this? This man was homeless, so obviously people saw him around the city. You know, what can regular Americans do to be vigilant and help with this problem?
Well, it goes back to that mantra of see something, say something. So if you're out there on Facebook or any other social media outlet, you need to be reporting these individuals to our law enforcement agencies, but then they've got to take it seriously. And obviously we see that this police chief out in Fresno does not want to take it serious. When someone is shouting Allahu Akbar and there are 3 people that are dead and now he's connected to a 4th, we got a serious problem.
Yeah, let me switch gears, Lieutenant Colonel. President Donald Trump promoting the domestic agenda yesterday. He signed a Buy American, Hire American executive order. President Trump, as well as the Snap-on CEO, Nicholas Pinchuk, weighed in. Listen to this. I want to get your reaction.
We will fully monitor, uphold, and enforce our Buy American laws, which we haven't done. Buy American laws require that when the federal government buys bills or funds a project, domestic goods and products should be used.
We were pretty happy with what the president had to say. You know, he said, buy American, hire American, and we think we are one of the most quintessential American manufacturers. And we think, you know, it more than just the phrase, it creates and draws attention to the essential nature of American manufacturing.
Colonel, what do you think? How significant is this executive order in terms of actually moving the needle on jobs coming back to America?
Well, I think it's very significant because it talks about a mindset that we need to have here in the United States of America. We've got to get production and manufacturing once again reignited in this country. But there's a bigger issue than just this executive order. We need to have the tax reform so that businesses can go out there and they can grow and they can hire Americans. But we also need to have the welfare reform so that it is not so easy for an American to sit at home and get a check from government. We want to get them out there. And then the third thing is education reform. We've got to focus on science, technology, engineering, and math education so that we raise the next generation that can go out there and produce and manufacture as well.
Colonel, it's Dagan McDowell. How quickly do you think, and let me throw in the health care reform on top of that, to roll back even just the employer mandate so it frees up small companies to go out there and start hiring full-time workers? How much time do you think it's going to take for Washington to get anything done on health care and taxes? Because they're still talking about, President Trump yesterday talked about that Steve Mnuchin is working on a tax reform plan. They still talk about like they're both of them are going to happen this year. Do you buy that?
You know, what I find just absolutely unconscionable, and I'm here in Washington, D.C. for a couple of days, there's no traffic up here because none of our legislators are up here. I do not understand how anyone can take a 2-week Easter vacation at a critical time for this country when we're talking about tax reform, healthcare reform, and the national security issues that we see. You know, the employer mandate needs to be taken care of. We could have a one-time repatriation at a lower tax rate, maybe 8%, 10%, so that we can get the capital back here to the United States of America. It's those simple things that the American people and the private sector can understand.
Yeah.
And why it's not being done, I cannot answer that. Those people, such as Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, they need to be the ones to answer that. But it's a lack of leadership. I cannot excuse it in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
Well, Stuart Varney had a good idea yesterday. He said, no tax reform, no summer break. So we'll see about that. Lieutenant Colonel, good to see you, sir.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West joining us there. Quick break. When we come back.